Okay, pick up here on page 63 in your book where we're starting to add text frames on our master page. So we just got done adding all the guides to all of our pages. So I want to get back to the A master. So we're going to double click on the A master again, double checking down here that that's the page that we're currently on. We're going to grab the text tool, and I'm on page 63 in your book. Step number 2 shows you approximately where you're going to draw the text box, but don't be too concerned about getting it exact because we will change that later. So with your text tool selected, we're going to draw a text box from the upper left-hand corner here across through page, or the side page, through the side of to the right margin here approximately. And once we have that text box drawn, you can, again, don't worry about the size at this point because we're going to fix it later. We'll have our cursor blinking there. We're going to go to the type menu, go down to insert special character, markers, and tell it to insert a current page number. Now notice it puts an A in there because that stands for the A master. Once we click on other pages, we would see the actual page number come in there. The next thing we're going to do is insert an M space. An M space, they talk about this step number 4 and on the tip on the right side. It basically is going to give you a space the width of the current font size. So to do that, we can go to the type menu again. Also, to get to any of these, we can right click, get to the same thing, insert white space, and choose M space, EM space. And then we're going to type in garden news. And then we're going to hit the escape key to select our box here. Our text box, we'll grab that text tool. And because that's all, our entire text box is selected, all we have to do is to make the changes we want to make. So we're going to first change the font to Myriad Pro. Myriad Pro. We're going to change the style to bold. And we're going to change the we're going to change the change case. So we're going to change the case. Type menu, go down to change case. We're going to choose uppercase. We're going to capitalize that garden news. Let's see, what else are we going to do here? We're going to go to our text frame options. So anytime you have a text frame and you know there's something that you want to do to it, but you can't remember where to find that, you're always going to often find it under text frame options. You can right click and find it. You could also go to the object menu to find it. So I'm going to go to text frame options, and here we're going to change the inset down here, inset spacing. We're going to change the left and right insets to 0.25. Left and right insets to 0.25. Make sure you turn off this setting here. And I can't even talk this afternoon. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. 0.125. And then the right, and then I didn't. I don't need any inset on the top and bottom, so I'm going to set that back to 0. So hopefully you're not following me exactly because I'm totally messing this up. Okay, then under the vertical justification down here, we're going to change it from top. Notice it's up at the top of the text box right now. We're going to change that to center. And then once we, actually if I hit preview right here, right now, we can see all the changes. You can see the inset means it just indented it basically from the far left margin here in a little bit. And then we can see that it centered it in the text box as well because we changed that vertical justification. Go ahead and click OK. And then we want to just make sure that we have this all in the correct area here. So if I click our selection tool, you want to make sure that the reference point here is clicked on the left center. Make sure that one's already chosen. Mine is, but yours probably is not. So make sure that's chosen. And then for the X value, we want that to be at 0.25. We were close. The Y value should be at 0.5. The width itself should be 7.75. And the height should be 0.3125. So I was a little off on that one. And so now the text box is exactly where it needs to be there in our header. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy that over to the right page. So a quick, easy way to do that is just to make sure you can see everything. You can see the whole spread here. And then you're going to hold down your Option key. And notice it kind of turns into a double arrow here. I'm going to left click and I'm going to drag over to the right here. We're going to drag until the X measurement is 9 inches. So notice I can see it there in a screen tip. I can also see it up on my control panel as well. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the type tool again to reset some things here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose right align to move it all to the right. We're going to then delete the M space and the A. Whoa. There. Then we're going to click after Garden News, reinsert that M space at the end. So we'll go to type again, white space, choose M space. Notice it doesn't really seem to have worked right now, and that's simply because we haven't put in the page number yet. So now we'll go back to type, we'll go back to special character markers, current page number. And it's going to look weird like this for a second. Just give it a few seconds, all of a sudden it just kind of fixes itself. I don't really know why it does that. But anyway, it works in the end. So you can see that M space with the A there then. Okay, we're also going to create, oh my goodness, we're going to create footers as well. Getting crazy with the mouse here. I'm going to go a little smaller so I can see all this a little bit better. I'm going to grab my selection tool. I'm going to select both of these text boxes. So this one's already selected. I'm going to hold down my shift key, select this one as well. And then I'm going to use my option key to left click and drag straight down to the footer. They don't really tell us where to put this exactly, I don't believe. So I'm just going to plop it here, and then if we need to move it, we can always move it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and grab the type tool then. And again, we're going to change all of this information here. So I can click in this on the left side here. It doesn't matter which one you do first, but we're going to take out what's currently there and type in Urban Garden Oasis. And then we're going to change that to 10 point and change it from bold back to regular. And we're going to make it title case instead of all caps. So we're going to go back to the type menu, go to change case and title case. And then I'm just going to copy that. I have it selected. I'm going to come over here and paste it. And then I'll just have to hit right align to move that back to the right. All right, there we go. We have a header and footer on our master page. Go ahead and hit save. And I can see that it's here on the master. Now if I go, for instance, to page 1, I'm going to double click on page 1. I can see the master has been applied because number 1, if I hover over page 1, it says A master applied. But also notice that A in the upper right hand corner. That also tells me that the master has been applied. So I'm going to double click on page 1, and you can see now the master has been applied to this page. You can see the grids on here. You can see the garden news with the page number, and then the footer here. If I go to any of the spreads, I can see the same thing. I can see page 2 and 3, 4, 5, and so on. As I click on each page, I can see that what I've put on the master is applying to every page. So the default setting in InDesign is it's just going to automatically apply the A master to every page you have on there, unless you tell it different. So go ahead and save here. Oh, I must have done that recently. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give this A master a name that maybe makes more sense for what it is. So I'm going to, with A master selected again, I'm going to click on this button, which I can't find because I've made my window too big here. Scrunch that up a little bit. You notice that this book calls this little menu the flyaway menu. I think Mary has always coined that the hamburger menu. But we'll call it the flyaway menu. That's what they call it in the book. We're going to click on that and we're going to choose Master Options for A Master. And under the Master Options here, we're going to change the master to be, instead of the word master there, we're going to take that out and type in 3 column layout. Everything else we're going to keep the same. We're going to keep the prefix the same there and so on. We'll go ahead and click OK. And you can see that it's changed that. So now it maybe makes more sense to what we have there for that master page. Okay, once again, I'm going to stop this portion of the video so that these don't get too long, and then we'll pick it up at the bounded page 65 here in just a minute.